All right, let's dive into the art of being heard. We're going to break down exactly why sometimes you speak and it feels like you're talking to a brick wall. More importantly, we'll get into what you can do to make sure that your voice, your ideas, your presence are actually felt in any room you walk into.
So, does this sound familiar? You have an amazing idea, but then someone else says basically the same thing and gets all the credit. Or you say something and crickets. No one even seems to hear you. It's got to be one of the most frustrating feelings, right? Just being invisible in a conversation, you know you've got something valuable to add, but it's like your mic is on mute. But here's the good news, okay? This isn't some personality flaw. It's just a communication gap.
Okay, get this. A classic study from UCLA found something that is just staggering. It turns out that a whopping 93% of how people perceive you has almost nothing to do with the words you're actually saying. Can you believe that? Only 7% is the words. The rest, it's all about how you say it, your body language, your tone of voice. And that is the secret language we're going to decode together.
So, part 1, the foundation. Where do we even begin? Well, and this might sound a little backward, we don't start with speaking. We start with listening. You know, the most influential people in any room, they aren't the ones who talk the most. Nope, they're the ones who listen the best. This is the absolute foundation for everything else we're going to cover. And this brings us to an incredible concept from a guy who knows a thing or two about high-stakes communication, former FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss. He calls it tactical empathy. Now, this isn't about being nice or agreeing with someone. It's not about, feeling all their pain. It's about getting a read on what is driving them in that exact moment. It's about hearing the stuff behind the words. That's where real influence comes from. So, how do you actually show you're listening? Okay, here's one of the simplest, but trust me, most powerful tools out there. It's called parroting. Let's say someone tells you, "I'm just so stressed about this deadline." All you do is repeat the last few words back to them, but with a curious, questioning tone. So you just say, "Stressed about this deadline?" See? It's not an interruption. It's an invitation. It's a little signal that says, "I hear you. Tell me more." And they almost always will, which gives you way more information to work with. And look, parroting is just one tool in the toolbox, right? This is all part of what we call active listening. And the word active is key here. This isn't a passive thing where you just let sound wash over you. No, it's about focusing completely, really tuning into the emotion behind the words and giving those little verbal nods to show you're locked in. It's a skill, just like learning an instrument. And yeah, it absolutely gets stronger the more you practice.
Okay, here's another, slightly more advanced technique, and it's a total game changer. When you sense someone's feeling a negative emotion, like frustration or anger, you just label it calmly. You say something like, "It seems like you're frustrated with how this project is going," or "It sounds like you're worried about this." By just calling out the emotion, you acknowledge it, and that one simple act is like letting the air out of a balloon. It just diffuses the negativity. It shows them, "Hey, I get it," and that builds trust like you wouldn't believe.
All right, part 2, the silent language. We've covered the internal game, the listening. Now let's get into the external signals we're sending out all the time, whether we know it or not. This is that massive 93% we talked about, your body and your voice.
What's really fascinating about body language is that you can think of it as having two main channels you can broadcast on, likability and respect. And you can dial each one up or down depending on what you need in that moment. So the likability channel, that's all about projecting warmth and openness. Things like a quick eyebrow flash when you see someone, or a genuine smile that actually reaches your eyes. Then you've got the respect channel. This is about projecting authority and confidence, a solid, grounded stance, slow, deliberate movements. It's not about being aggressive, it's about being in control.
And of course, there's your voice. Chris Voss calls this the late-night FM DJ voice. You know that sound, right? It's calm, it's smooth, and it always inflects down at the end of a sentence. Think about it. When your voice goes up at the end, it sounds like a question, right? It sounds uncertain. But when you bring it down, you sound certain. You sound authoritative. And don't forget the power of the pause. A strategic pause, it forces people to lean in and hang on your next word. It gives everything you say so much more weight.
Part 3, the toolkit. Okay, so we've got the listening down, we've tackled the nonverbals. Now, at last, we can talk about that final 7%, the words themselves. Because once you've built that strong foundation, every single word you choose has way more impact.
So, let me ask you this. What's the most powerful word in communication? It's not I, it's not me, it's you. This is such a huge shift. Most of us, we talk from our own perspective, right? I think this, I need that, my product does this. But let's be honest, everyone's favorite radio station is WIFM, what's in it for me. Their brain is wired to care about themselves. The second you shift your language to focus on you, your message becomes instantly magnetic.
And I mean, just look at the difference. It's night and day. I think my product is helpful. Okay, that's about me. But what about, you're gonna love how this saves you time? Boom. Now it's about them. Or instead of, I've worked in marketing for 4 years, try, I can help you grow your brand's engagement. See how it connects your idea directly to their world, their problems, their goals? This one simple tweak can totally transform how persuasive you are.
Here's a fantastic tip from communication coach Cara Ronan. Start with the conclusion first. Think of it like this, bottom line up front. So many of us meander our way to the point. We say, well, you know, sales are down a bit, and our competitor is doing this thing, and the data shows that, so I think we should. No, flip it. Start with, we need to increase the marketing budget now. Here's why. It's so much more direct, it's confident, and frankly, it respects everyone's time.
You want to make an idea stick. Don't just give people facts and figures. Make them feel something first. People forget data, but they never forget a feeling. A super short, like 20-second personal story can be an incredible hook. It activates the emotional and visual parts of their brain. So instead of just saying, time management is important, you could start with, I'll never forget a client telling me he missed his daughter's school play because he was stuck at work, and that's why we need to talk about, see? Suddenly, it's not an abstract concept, it's real, and everyone is listening.
Okay, what do you do when someone says no or hits you with a roadblock? The instinct is to argue, right? Don't. Instead, use what Chris Voss calls calibrated questions. These are questions that start with how or what. They're magic. If your boss gives you an impossible task, instead of saying, I can't do that, you ask, how am I supposed to do that? It's not aggressive, it actually makes them pause and think, and it enlists them to help you solve the problem. You're basically giving them the illusion of control while gently guiding the conversation where you want it to go.
Part 4, becoming a master communicator. So we've gone through a ton of different tools and techniques. But let's be real. How do you go from just knowing this stuff in your head to actually doing it, to having it be natural without even thinking about it? Well, the public speaking coach Ving Jiang has this perfect model for it. There are 4 stages of mastery. Think about learning to drive a car. Stage 1 is unconscious incompetence. You're 15, you don't even know what you don't know. Stage 2 is conscious incompetence. You get behind the wheel for the first time and you're painfully aware of every single thing you're doing wrong. Then comes Stage 3, conscious competence. You can drive, but you have to think about everything. Hands at 10 and 2, check the mirror, signal. It takes all your focus. And then finally, you reach Stage 4, unconscious competence. You just get in the car and drive. You do it all naturally. That's the goal. So what's the secret to getting from that awkward Stage 2 to that natural Stage 4? It's simple, but it's not easy. It's reps. That's it. Repetitions. Practice. Every single conversation you have is a chance to practice. Every meeting is a workout for your communication muscles. And that feeling of discomfort you get when you try a new technique, that awkwardness, that's not failure. That's the feeling of growth. So don't run from it. You got to lean right into it.
So I'm going to leave you with one final question. Don't try to do all of this at once. You'll just overwhelm yourself. Instead, which single technique are you going to practice in your very next conversation? I mean it, the very next one. Maybe it's parroting. Maybe it's labeling an emotion. Or maybe it's just swapping an I statement for a you statement. Just pick one. Because the art of being heard isn't something you learn by watching an explainer like this. It's something you learn by doing.